Let's explore together what conscious life might be like if we existed in each of the 10 dimensions. Einstein's general relativity, which was heavily influenced by James Clerk Maxwell's work in the 1800s, already shows us that time is not an independent force but is interwoven with space. It serves as a fourth temporal dimension. But what if time wasn't just a single dimension? What if there were multiple dimensions of time, perhaps even an infinite or nearly infinite expanse of it? Imagine our current reality as watching a movie unfold in linear time. We can only move forward moment by moment, unable to jump backwards or skip ahead. But in the next dimension, we might gain the ability to traverse time freely, moving forward and backward at will, experiencing events not just passively, but interacting with them. This concept reminds me of meditation, where our thoughts direct our energy. If I dwell on the past, my energy is anchored in the past, influencing my present experience. If consciousness continues beyond the human body, could a spirit move through time just as easily? So let's ascend further. What if we were no longer participants in the simulation of life, but observers of it? From this vantage point, we could see every moment of our existence all at once, similar to what people describe as a life review. Every decision, every possibility would be laid out before us as part of a larger cohesive pattern. Perhaps as spirits, we could choose to dive back into the timeline to relive certain experiences, but without the ability to change them. We could step in and out at will, seeing our lives from a higher perspective, yet unable to rewrite the past. What if we could also witness our possible futures? During my near-death experience as a child, I existed in such a dimension where I could see both my past with certainty and my potential futures. They weren't infinite, but they were many. For me, they appeared like an ethereal river. Each possible future was a different current flowing before me. I could step into any point, experiencing what might be. My life was laid out not as a fixed path, but as an unfolding tree, or in my case, a flowing river of possibilities. Let's consider chaos theory. Small changes in initial conditions can create vastly different outcomes. Imagine if you were born to different parents. Your entire genetic makeup, experiences, and choices would be different. On a grander scale, even a slight alteration in the gravitational constant, which is the force governing gravity, would mean life as we know it could never exist. So what if a being existed outside of linear time, capable of observing the ripple effects of these initial conditions? Such an entity would have the ability to probe alternate starting points, seeing how different choices lead to different realities. Picture each reality as a sheet of paper in an infinite stack of papers. A being in this dimension wouldn't just see one page at a time, but the entire collection, like a vast library of possible lives or, information. These beings might act as guides, helping others navigate towards the most optimal path, much like skilled storytellers shaping a narrative behind the scenes. What if there were even more layers to this grand design? What if, beyond this library of possibilities, we entered a dimension where the very laws of physics were not fixed but variable? Here, reality itself could be rewritten by different governing principles. Would time flow in reverse? Would we perceive it as a series of simultaneous moments, much like the potential futures we observed earlier? Or perhaps it would resemble something like the film Tenet, where time and causality are no longer linear but fluid. Let's take one final leap. A dimension where entire universes, each with different initial conditions, exist before us. Imagine these universes as individual boxes we can open and explore. In this realm, an entity would not only observe reality, but have the power to create it. Just as we effortlessly design digital worlds and video games, these beings could shape entire cosmic structures. During my near-death experience, I encountered 3 such beings. Their role was to weave my energy into the ethereal river of my life's possibilities. They placed stones, boulders, and currents in the river, symbolizing pivotal moments designed to guide me along an optimal path. They were kind, asking what I wanted to add to my journey before returning to my body. One of them revealed that I was made of the same essence or same energy as they were. At that moment, I realized I too could shape my life's course. They explained that before my birth, we had already collaborated to design this life, choosing experiences that would provide growth and meaning. Yet even with these guiding forces, my future was not entirely predetermined. The stones and boulders in the river were carefully placed to encourage certain experiences. But my thoughts and choices would ultimately determine my direction. Whether in a human body or as a spirit, our thoughts are energy, and energy shapes our reality. Every moment we weave our existence from the patterns of energy we choose to embody. That is why the present is so important. Our futures are visible to those who can recognize these patterns, yet even they are subject to change. So with all these dimensions in mind, I am left with deeper questions. Who or what is setting these parameters? Are they fixed, or do we have more influence over them than we realize? And if our thoughts shape reality, how much power do we truly have over the structure of existence itself? Thanks for listening, and thanks for being curious.